Hey everyone, and welcome back to Kharak Cup number 9. We're going to be moving on to round 3 today, and there's actually only 3 games in round 3. One of them was played about halfway through before Gingersod had to forfeit. So in the game Gingersod versus Mazrim, we're not going to watch that replay because it didn't actually go all the way through. And then that's also true for round 4. There's only 3 games there. So we're going to start it off here between moi, Bozocow, versus Hottest Man Ever, playing as the Galzian here. On the shallows, as you can see. Now, of course, map being chosen by the RNG. This, I think, was a good pick for me. Because, obviously, you know, I know that the Hottest Man is going to try to do his typical rush, right? And so it shouldn't really be too problematic for me to deal with him here. Just because of the map, you know what I mean? It's a very nice one for holding off rushes. So I'm, in fact, going to go for a bit eco here. You can see I'm making a salvager already. And I'm playing Con F again. I think it worked well enough against Discara that I wanted to see how it goes in a game that doesn't have, you know, obscene amounts of lag in it, right? And so I went ahead and tried it against Hottest Man Ever here. I figured this would be a bit of a better test of the build, but again, it's on the shallows. So if he goes for his rush, it's not going to be particularly good, right? So, you know, but I still think it's a pretty solid build. I think it would work pretty well against what my opponent is going for here. You know, now that I've rambled on about it for so long, I'm not actually sure if that's what I ended up trying to do in this game. But I guess we'll see, won't we? So, Sandscaper Fabrication is finished for Hottest Man Ever, and he's already going to start producing those. Heading out of that production cruiser. And Assault Ship Fabrication should be on the way pretty soon. Yep, he's got the CUs, he'll have the RUs shortly. Once again, he can do a quick drop here, but he's not going to choose to do that, so he'll be a little bit delayed from what he could get. That's something you'll see Discara do, for example. In fact, very delayed. This is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. Okay, there you go. Now he's on the way. Sandscaper's going to find my base runner in kind of a nice position for them. You can see Sandscaper Fabrication on the way for me. Already I've got the RUs for it, so Railgun Fabrication is on the way. And now I can begin making Sandscapers here, and the hope is that I can use the base runner. And by the way, you can see me moving sideways here, popping the smoke. That's to try to get the blast drone to have a nice hit with the skimmers here. And it's gonna be pretty decent. I'll get 1. It looks actually that's not really particularly good. I've got another blast turn over here, by the way, just sort of chilling, but that'll be useful later, right? But yeah, I'm gonna be able to go to Railgun Fabrication immediately. Now, he's gonna have to chase up into my carrier here, so I should be able to get a trade off of that one sand skimmer. But he has pushed me off of my second location, so that's relevant. That's good stuff for him there. Assault Ship Fabrication is finished now. He's going to start producing, but I'm going to be making railguns at almost the exact same time. So he won't have that much of an edge on me here. I think, yeah, I've been thinking about A-Game's patch a lot recently, and I think actually this would work a little bit better on his patch because of the way that Assault Ships only cost 500 instead of 600. We've never actually tried this build in his patch before, to my knowledge. Anyhow, double blast drone here is going to be really scary. Still no armor upgrade on these sand skimmers. They need to make themselves quite scarce. Assault railgun going to pop out here, and this is probably a little bit audacious. And yeah, you can see that blast drone came back in right to support. I should be able to get a pretty good hit right here. He tries to body block the blast drones, which is a nice move, but it's not going to work in this case. I was on top of that with the micro there, so I might get 3 here. Ooh, I'm just gonna get 2. That's still not bad. Both of those trading effectively, and I should be able to hold this rush off without too much difficulty. Although these 2 sand skimmers here getting sacrificed, kind of for naught, but another blast drone hit connects right there. And yeah, with all the sand skimmers gone, I'm not really afraid of those assault ships anymore. Seems like Hottest Man knows that he's gonna choose to back away here. But his response is not to just go back and play eco or to go interceptors. It's going to be to go for railguns now. So that's pretty cool to see. He basically wants to go kind of like Sparrow style, where you just like you hold on that push until it is certainly not going to work, and until that point, you know, you won't give up, right? I really like to see that. And this actually really caught. Whoa, hear my voice there. This actually really caught me off guard. I didn't realize he was going to go for this. So. What's coming out right here is a heavy railgun, and I've got assault railguns. That's kind of like a really nice counter scenario for him. And you'll be like, oh, he's still here? I thought he would have left. And then this heavy railgun pops out, and I'm like, ah! So immediately I'm going to try to close the distance on him. I thought, and I had to make this decision quickly. I'm not sure actually if I would have done it looking at this again now. But basically, I figured, like, well, if I can kill that heavy railgun, I buy myself some time. So even though it's going to cost me dearly, I think it'll be worth it. Blast drone going to get a decent hit here, I suppose, but it only takes out one of those sand skimmers. Really could have gotten all three of those. That probably should have happened. Sand skimmer's not going to chase. There's only two of them anyway, though, so this guy probably would have made it out. But that extraction is going to be very relevant for me coming up here now, right? So my response, now that I see that the rush is continuing, is just immediately to make a second production cruiser. Railgun is up here on this high ground position, and he'll be able to take that fight pretty well. Although the assault railgun might get a shot here, but at any rate, yeah, there you go. The assault railgun will take him out. At any rate, the sand skimmers were going to get him too. But now you can see I'm switching to the cruise missile because I feel the close combat weapon is not going to be as effective here. Extraction goes down now. I've got one assault railgun popping out here against this heavy. That would not bode well for me, but there's no line of sight to it, which is nice for me. And because this guy's back here, I can still make blast drones and come back in on the back side, which is always pretty fun. We've also got a second heavy railgun coming out from... Wait, no we don't. Oh yeah, we do, okay, just from that same production cruiser. So the heavy railguns, as you can see, manage to trade effectively despite being outnumbered since they're on that high ground position. But really I'm going to want to wait until I have the numbers on them to do this. And I'm going to get them, right? Because, oh, this is pretty sloppy though. As you can see, I'm just going to lose some guys rather sillily right there. But the cruise missile shot is nice and kind of saves my bacon there. But yeah, I'm just going to want to wait until I've got the, railgun numbers here, which I will, because I've got two production cruisers here. He's only got one, and then I can take them, you know, kind of lackadaisically even. It shouldn't be a hard hold. I think at this point, Hottest Man should probably recognize it's not going to work and back away. If you look at his resources, we're about even. I do have a second production cruiser, so it would be pretty hard for him. He'll know he's behind at any rate, but this should still be doable for him, you know what I mean? But I think he's going to stay, if I remember correctly. You can see me just kind of firing shots off here, just cause why not? And maybe I'll hit something, you know what I mean? You never know. Yeah, so two heavy railguns will beat three when they're on that high ground positioning. Neither of us with any armor, actually. No, wait, no, I've got armor 1, he doesn't. So that's also going to be helpful for me. Assault railguns could kind of be in the soup right here, but I am going to take out some heavies. And you can see this blast drone wants to get involved and do something, but it's not even going to be able to, so that's pretty funny. And these two assault railguns, by some miracle, also choosing this, well, they didn't really choose, but they stayed alive. Yeah, so my base friend is going to head back now. Another blast drone is on the way, and you know I'm going to try to hit that eco, because that's all you can ever do with blast drones, right, Trent? Well, got a little close. I say this in particular because I know Trent hates it when people try to do that kind of stuff, but at this point I can save up to refinery mode, and I'll be on 3 bases before too long, so I'm feeling very, very confident. I'm assuming my opponent will move his production cruiser back. That is the case. I like the way he's leaving this assault ship right here, because it slows me down just a little bit and gives him some really valuable scouting. But yeah, I did kind of know that the siege was over at this point. And so he's going to go into interceptor fabrication. And I think what's important to note here is that that's actually still a very strong build, and I should be clicking on this, by the way. You know, doing assault ship railgun with interceptors is a very strong build, and it's very serviceable. So this is not like a done game by any means, but I'm definitely still ahead in this position. Falling behind, though, for every second that I don't click on refinery mode, which is pretty silly. At this point, I probably ought to click on fleet cap, yeah. Why am I waiting so long? It's inexcusable! I'm at 12,000, 12,000, well that'd really be a thing. I'm at 1,200 CUs. Why have I not made anything? Okay, there we go, so I'm finally going to choose to get going here. Gonna fleet cap myself, though, in the process. One thing that is nice, though, I got these blast drones sliding through here, and the salvager tries to do a body block, but it's not going to work. And this could be a problem for Hottest Man, obviously. Again, another attempt at the body block, which is pretty cool. That's obviously what you want to do when your opponent is doing this kind of thing to you. But I see this and I think, well, how long can I wait here? The longer I wait, the closer together they're going to get. I decide maybe I can get 3. Looks like I almost got that one, but not quite. Still worth it, though, 2 salvagers for that. Certainly not like game-ending damage, not like I bombed his eco out entirely, but, you know, I did well. Interceptor fabrication is finished. I expect we'll see some of those on the way pretty soon. And he's actually floating quite a few resources now, so yeah, you can see they're on the way now. So missile ship fabrication also on the way for me. I figured about as much, so I'm just ready for him. Refinery mode finishing now, so I'll be on 2 bases. He's already on 2 actually, which again, like I said, is a little sloppy of me. And his second production cruiser is coming out, but we'll be equal on economy. Economy! I said it really funny. But I do have the railgun edge quite significantly, so as long as I can keep those guys alive, I should be fine. Ow! Armor 2 coming out for me, by the way. Assault Railgun's going to deny this artifact pickup, which is good for me, and then I'll try to extract my own. One thing that was a bit sloppy here, though, as you can see, he does have air units, and I even got missile ship tech, and I think maybe I'm even building one right now, just because I knew that this was coming. But I still chose to push out with these rails, thinking perhaps that I had enough momentum, I ought to just go and try to get something done here. And also, I'm kind of floundering with this fight here. You can see I'm not really focus firing particularly well, kind of leaving this guy at low health. But anyway, here come the air units, though. That's the big problem. And he's gonna start really putting some hurt down on me, which is quite unfortunate. Should not have been so. So, I mean, I definitely knew I shouldn't have pushed there, but I did anyway. As you can see, I'm gonna get punished for that. But 2 missile ships on the way. I should be able to neutralize the air power pretty soon. So I think I took out 3 railguns of his, and he took out probably like 6 of mine, so... Just do the math. Just do the math. Another production cruiser out on the way for me here, and you can see I've already gone for siege cruiser fabrication because... No, that's a lie. I haven't even gone for assault ship fabrication. I think I do go for that in the end, though. Because I'm Con F, I mean, what else are you going to do, right? Looks like Interceptor here actually was probably going to die to the production cruiser, but that's not even going to matter. Base Runner has picked up an artifact, so we're going to see if we can stop that now. And Railgun Armor 3 is out on the way for me. Still no Railgun Armor for Hottest Man Ever, so if he plans on continuing to go in the Railgun line, he's going to run into some trouble there. I don't think he's planning on it, though. I mean, we know how much he hates Railguns, right? But yeah, so far he's gotten very good value out of those air units, so that's always nice to see. If it weren't for that air transition right there, I'd say I probably could have just closed the game off right here. So that was definitely the right move for him. He's going to go up onto a 3rd base there. I think that in this game I choose to forego the idea of like a 3rd base economy, but I can't quite remember. Well, I'll have to see what I end up doing here. If I can, I want to stop this this base runner's extraction. But yeah, I think that I decide that my carrier's freed up here and I choose to move him out. Obviously the other move on the shallows, which is pretty unique, is that you can go for that 3rd base location, but I'm not going to go for it in this case. Why not? Just because, I don't know. I felt like I had good momentum here. I think looking at this game in reality, I think we're more or less even at this point. Although he's actually a little missaturated right here. But my thought was that I was actually quite ahead at this point. So I choose to go for like a power play off of 2 bases. It seems that's not actually particularly accurate, but that'll be fine. That doesn't really matter too much. You can see the missile ship barrages there, by the way, being very effective to clear out that sandskimmer blob. And like I said, I really want to stop that extraction there. Air unit's going to dive up on top of these railguns here, but they're going to take a lot of damage to missile ships. I think all of them are going to go down right here. Yeah, so that's quite unfortunate. I don't think that was a very good move. Base Runner heal getting used here, actually, which is kind of cool to like slow me down as long as possible. But I did hemorrhage some heavy railguns there that I don't really think I needed to, but it was to stop that cap, so I kind of think it was worth it. By the way, what's this guy doing? Slacker. Yeah, there's no rally point on this production cruiser, so that's pretty sloppy. Anyhow, I have assault ship fabrication since I wanted to go into the siege cruiser line at this point, so I thought, you know, might as well make some, right? To cover up like the sandskimmer hole here, because obviously assault railguns can do it. You've all seen that before, but I think that assault ships would just be better at it, so that's what I'm going to go for here. One more heavy railgun gets picked off, but that should be the end of that. And these guys are on armor 3. These guys, if they got damage upgrades, no, they don't. So it takes a long time for these things to die. I'm going to go ahead and occupy this high ground position right here. And Hottest Man is making rails of his own, so that's going to be very nice for me. The other interesting thing to note is that he's also making Siege, which is kind of like the mirror of me, right? Of course, Kharak Siege is quite a lot different than Galzian Siege, but you still get the idea. And yeah, see, this is why I like the idea of an assault ship here, because just one of them makes like a huge difference, whereas like one assault railgun is not going to plug up a gap like this. Kind of a bit late on that missile ship barrage, don't you think? I probably could have gotten some good value out of that. The Space Runner here, having a fun time. He can't really move either direction or else he'll get killed, so he's just kind of sitting there, but you know what that means, yeah? Con F, right? So, I mean, that'll take a while, but eventually I would actually kill that. Siege Cruiser not yet on the way, no. These are all assault railguns. I didn't realize how many of these things I had. But yeah, you can see rails up on the high ground here are going to do very well for me. And like I was saying earlier, those sand skimmers are not going to do much damage to assault railguns at all, so. Yeah, but being on this high ground position, I should be able to take any railgun fights that go down. Siege, I was definitely not expecting though, and so that's actually going to be rather effective. I feel like he told the barrage to go there, but those missiles definitely landed over there. Did you see that? Yeah, but I'm kind of focused on the Space Runner. By the time I really realize what's going on, I think that the Siege Cruiser gets a shot off on these guys that kills a bunch of them. Artifact goes down for me. That's the third one now. Oh yeah, and the assault ships are over here doing who knows what, by the way. So yeah, my heavy railgun number is a little bit thin now, but his are very thin, so I don't really feel too worried about that. And I think to myself, that Siege Cruiser is a very high value target. Maybe I can kind of, you know, execute a bit of a pincer here. I can move in with the assault ships on this side and the assault railguns on that side, and I should be able to take it out. That's just rude. Anyway, so yeah, that was my idea. I've also got Con F Siege in the area, so that's always going to be nice, obviously. Barrage comes short to try and stop those assault railguns, but it's not going to land. And the sand skimmers are here, and they're going to put out damage, obviously, but not really very much. Assault ships are also there. That should be all she wrote for that Siege Cruiser, so that's gone. And also, this Siege Cruiser here is like the ultimate counter to sand skimmers, right? So at this point, I'm not worried about sand skimmers at all. I had assault railguns to plug it up, then I had assault ships. Now I'm just going to have these Siege Cruisers. Mix those with heavy rails, and you've got yourself a very powerful combo. And this Gaussian carrier ought to fall pretty quickly. And that'll be the game. And that, I think, emphasizes one of the big strengths of the Con F faction when you get into the late game, is that their carrier is pretty trash. I shouldn't say that. Their carrier is actually amazing for like long-range stuff, but if you get it close, it's pretty trash, right? But normally, you're going to have rails and sand skimmers, and then if you move on to that point, you might incorporate Siege into that as a nice way of, you know, as like a nice way of countering the opponent's railguns, even if you don't necessarily have the majority. But with Con F, they're going to make Siege, and that also does the job of the sand skimmers, so that all they need is just Siege and railguns, which means that they can really streamline their production a lot more, I think. So anyway, that was a fun game. I really enjoyed it. I hope Hottest Man did too, and I hope you do as well. So catch you in the next one.